Hello everyone, in today's quick tutorial I will show you one of the possible solutions for TransactionTooLargeException. So if you have TransactionTooLargeException in your project and you don't know how to see what is the cause for it, then what you should definitely do is add this implementation. So this tool, I found this tool online, TooLarge tool. You need to add it here. And I think that you also need to where is it, to add Maven Central for it. Then build your project. After that you need to have a application class, a class that extends application and extend override on create function. In override on create function you need to add this one line, so TooLarge tool start logging this application. And also I believe that you already know that if you have a class that extends application, you need to go to manifest, and in your manifest you need to type this here and rename and show that your class that extends application. Okay, that's the first thing. After that you just run your project, do something on your app and try to replicate that exception. As you can see here down below, logcat, I set this tool, so TooLarge tool, I want to filter on it. I have some application here, and what I just do, I open one fragment, I return to home, open another, return to home, open another, return to home, and couple of more times. I'll try to close it, open it one more time to see if okay, we have a new log here, as you can see. So my test activity, and here you can see bundle contains 4 keys, so 0.4 kilobytes, 40 kilobytes, bundle saved registry. And what is the main problem here is that, as you can see, nav host fragment on save instance. So our nav host fragment saves a lot of fragments inside memory. So when this value reaches above 500 kilobytes, then you will probably get TransactionTooLargeException. That was my case in one of my applications, and that happened constantly. So, and in that scenario, what I did was just a second, test fragment one. So I looked up all the nav controller navigation functions to see what is the structure of navigation. And here, as we can see, we call find nav controller, navigate to one fragment, to another fragment, to third fragment. That's okay. But the main problem was that in all of these fragments, I had like code that was find nav controller, navigate to home fragment. In this case, it's test fragment, and it should be pop back stack or pop up to or something like that. And the issue for TransactionTooLargeException was that I started application and we are on test fragment. Then I open test fragment 1. We have 2 fragments in stack. And then here, when I click back, I didn't back to the first fragment. What I did here is I added another fragment to the stack. So we are on 3. And then also for these ones here, so we constantly navigate to a new instance of fragment and we don't close the old ones. And that is why this nav host fragment on its internal save instance state function, it saves a lot of fragments in memory, and we don't use it because the whole construction of application was wrong. So one of the fast solutions in this case would be to make one nav controller. So to make one extension function, navigate to home screen, which will do that to set nav options, builder, set pop up to, so we want to pop up to this nav controller, its graph, its start destination, test fragment. Our test fragment is the first fragment in our navigation. Arguments null in this case, and nav options. Okay, so we don't want to navigate directly to test fragment, but we want to use this function in order to pop up to our start destination, to our test fragment, and remove everything from the stack. So in this case, we would just call navigate to home screen, and do that also in test fragment 2 and 3. Now I will try to kill this application, run it one more time to see if this value will decrease when we close our app and when our nav host fragment tries to save the instance. So I will again open one fragment, return a couple of more times to replicate the case that we had. Then I will try to close it, open it one more time. Let's see in logcat. So our new 46. As you can see here now, when we close our application, it saved only 1 kilobyte, because in the stack was only, because we didn't have a lot of fragments in the stack, but we always returned to the first one, which is test fragment, and removed everything above it. I'll show you here in navigation. So test fragment is our start destination, and when we try to return, we don't navigate to a new instance of test fragment, but we go to the first instance of test fragment and remove everything above it. And that is the solution for this type of transaction to large exception. But again, you can also have a transaction to large exception with something in intent that is too large, or if you use a lot of bundles. So if you use bundle to navigate from one fragment to another, let's say for example here we have some main fragment and it gets 3 items, but this is okay because this is string long. But if you use here some class that extends parcelable and it has a lot of properties, then that could easily throw you transaction to large exception. So you need to use you don't need to use here a lot of arguments. Best is 1 or 2 simple arguments that are ID, and then in that fragment, by that ID, you get your data from your model. That's it for this video. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel. You can find a lot more useful content about Android and iOS development, and see you in the next video.